Welcome, everybody. I feel like I should have my script and be ready with my lines here. I'm Terry Lamonchek. I'm the relatively new Executive Director of El Dorado Arts Council. Thank you. As Maura reminds me, it takes a village to put Poetry Out Loud on. Actually, it takes the whole country. Poetry Out Loud is a national program that is a collaboration between the National Endowment for the Arts, in our case, California Arts Council, California Poets in the Schools, and the Poetry Foundation. And I'm sure most of you know that it is a high school competition starting at the school level, and that winner comes on to the county finals, which of course is tonight. That lucky winner will go on to the state finals in Sacramento at the end of this month, and then it's on to Washington, D.C. for the final.
We have our 7 contestants right here. Yay. And to them, thank you for being here. They've been living with their poems day and night for weeks, some for months. And they're now ready to deliver to you their poems that they've come to know so deeply, heart and soul. But before they get up on stage, I need to point out a few things about the contest structure. So we have a crew of trained judges over here who will be evaluating the performances. And they follow a particular criteria that's been established by the Poetry Out Loud officials. And these criteria are physical presence. And so what the judges will look for is the performer confident, secure, comfortable, poised up on stage. Voice and articulation, particular attention is paid to pronunciation, volume, pacing, voice inflection. Appropriateness of dramatization, and this is a tricky category because the judges aren't looking specifically for theater, but rather to see if the performer embodies the poem, internalizes the poem, gives the poem its voice. The performer becomes a vessel for the poem. So that is appropriateness of dramatization. Then there's evidence of understanding. Does the performer on stage exhibit understanding of the poem and reveal the poem's inner workings or meaning to the audience? And if the audience understands the poem or if it takes in the poem in a whole new, fresh way, that signals to the judges that the performer understands the poem. And then there's the overall performance. That's a whole kit and caboodle, basically the degree to which the recitation has become more than the sum of its parts. Does the student understand and show mastery of recitation? Does the student honor the poem, breathe life into the poem? And then there's accuracy, and this is the trickiest one of all, because this is when a judge follows along on the poem on paper and records any omissions or errors and whatnot. And it's kind of the make or break category that most of us out in the audience we aren't aware of because we don't have the poem right in front of us. So accuracy is really critical in this competition. It's always sort of an interesting little tiebreaker sometimes.
Our first student is Olivia Robertson. She's from Golden Sierra High School, and her Poetry Out Loud teacher is Sean Dunkley.
The American Soldier by Philip Freneau. A picture from the life. To serve with love and shed your blood, approved may be above. But here below, examples show, 'tis dangerous to be good. Lord Oxford. Deep in a vale, a stranger now to arms. Too poor to shine in courts, too proud to beg. He who once warred on Saratoga's plains sits musing o'er his scars and wooden leg. Remembering still the toil of former days, to other hands he sees his earnings paid. They share the due reward, he feeds on praise. lost in the abyss of want, misfortune shade. Far, far from domes where splendid tapers glare, 'tis his from dear-bought peace, no wealth to win. Removed alike from courtly cringing squires, the great man's levy, the proud man's grin. Sold are those arms which once on Britons blazed, when flushed with conquest, to the charge they came, the power repelled and freedom's fabric raised. She leaves her soldier, famine, and a name.
Our next student is Brendan Galbraith, Oak Ridge High School. His Poetry Out Loud teacher is Mark Kuvelis.
Barber by Larry Bradley. Learn from the man who spends much of his life speaking to the back of your head, knowing what it means to follow the razor's edge along a worn strop, or random thoughts as they spring so invisibly from the mind to a mouth, who shouldered soldiers in 2 wars and fled fire fields undecorated, who fathered once, but was fatherless forever, and who works his sentiments in deeper into your scalp, under a sign on the knotty pine walls, whose rubric reads, quod homines tot sententia, which means he sees in you his suffering, smells of whorehound tonics and gels, pillowheads and powders, and a floor full of snippings swept neatly every evening into a pile for the field mice. All those roundabout hours. Only a man who fixes his tie to clip crabgrass crowding a lady's grave could believe with a certain clean devotion, and who would never for one moment dream of hurting you when your back was turned.
Our next student is Sierra Melton Fielder. She's from Independence High School, and her Poetry Out Loud teacher is Jack Harmon.
Bright Copper Kettles by Vijay Seshadri. Dead friends coming back to life. Dead family. Speaking languages, living and dead. Their minds retentive. Their 5 senses intact. Their footprints like a butterfly's. Mercy shining from their comprehensive faces. This is one of my favorite things. I like it so much, I sleep all the time. Moon by day and sun by night find me dispersed deep in dreams where they appear. In fields of goldenrod, in the city of 5 pyramids, before the empress with the melting face, under the towering plane tree, they just show up. It's all right, they seem to say. It always was. They are diffident and polite. Who knew the dead were so polite? They don't want to scare me. Their heads don't spin like weather vanes. They don't want to steal my body and possess the earth and wreak vengeance. They're dead, you understand. They don't exist. And besides, why would they care? They're subatomic, horizontal. Think about it. One of them shyly offers me a pencil. The eyes under the eyelids start faster and faster. Through the intercom of the house, where for so long there was no music, the Right Reverend Al Green is singing, "I could never see tomorrow. I was never told about the sorrow."
Our next student is Juliana Eggert from Charter University Prep, and her Poetry Out Loud teacher is Kate Wells.
In the Basement of the Goodwill Store by Ted Hooser. In musty light, in thin brown air of damp carpet, doll heads, and rust, beneath long rows of sharp footfalls like nails in a lid, an old man stands trying on glasses, lifting each pair from the box like a glittering fish and holding it up to the light of a dirty bowl. Near him, a heap of enameled pans as white as skulls looms in the catacomb shadows. And old toilets with dry red throats cough up bouquets of curtain rods. You've seen him somewhere before. He's wearing the green leisure suit you threw out with the garbage, and the Christmas tie you hated, and the ventilated wingtip shoes you found in your father's closet and wore as a joke, and the glasses which finally fit him, through which he looks to see you looking back. Two mirrors which flash and glance are those through which one day you too will look down over the years, when you have grown old and thin and no longer particular, and the things you once thought that you were rid of forever have taken you back in their arms.
Our next student is Rebecca Glaister. She's from Union Mine High School, and her POL teacher is Rich Kentz.
Love Song by Dorothy Parker. My own dear love, he is strong and bold, and he makes my own dear love, he is strong and bold, and he cares not what comes after. His words ring sweet as a chime of gold, and his eyes are lit with laughter. He is jubilant as a flag unfurled. Oh, a girl she'd not forget him. My own dear love, he is all my world, and I wish I'd never met him. My love, he's mad, and my love, he's fleet, and a wild young wood thing bore him. The way ways are fair to his roaming feet, and the skies are sunlit for him. As sharply sweet to my heart he seems as the fragrance of acacia. My own dear love, he is all my dreams, and I wish he were in Asia. My love runs by like a day in June, and he makes no friends of sorrows. He'll tread his galloping rigadoon in the pathway of the morrows. He'll live his days with a sunbeam star, nor could storm or wind uproot him. My own dear love, he is all my heart, and I wish somebody'd shoot him.
Our next student is Olivia Flickinger-Renzi. She goes to El Dorado High School, and her Poetry Out Loud teacher is David Conrad.
Domestic Situation by Ernest Hilbert. Maybe you've heard about this, maybe not. A man came home and chucked his girlfriend's cat in the wood chipper. This really happened. Dinner wasn't ready on time. A lot of other little things went wrong. He spat on her father, who came out when he learned about it. He also broke her pinky, stole her checks, and got her sister pregnant. But she stood by him, stood strong through it all, because she loved him. She loved him, you see. She actually said that. And then she went and married him. She felt some unique call. Don't try to understand what another person means by love. Don't even bother.
Our final student for round one is Caitlin Stahl. She goes to Ponderosa High, and her Poetry Out Loud teacher is Rochelle Hodson.
I Felt a Funeral in My Brain by Emily Dickinson. I felt a funeral in my brain, and mourners to and fro kept treading, treading till it seemed that sense was breaking through. And when they were all seated, a service like a drum kept beating, beating till I thought my mind was going numb. And then I heard them lift a box and creak across my soul with those same boots of lead again. And then space began to toll. As all the heavens were a bell, and being but an ear, and I in silence, some strange race wrecked solitary here. And then a plank in reason broke, and I dropped down and down, and hit a world at every plunge, and finished knowing then.
And here come the stars. Okay, round two. Our first student is Rebecca Glaister from Union Mine.
The Conqueror Worm by Edgar Allan Poe. Lo, 'tis a gala night within the lonesome latter years. An angel throng, bewinged, bedight in veils, and drowned in tears, sit in a theater to see a play of hopes and fears, while the orchestra breathes fitfully the music of the spheres. Mimes, in the form of God on high, mutter and mumble low, and hither and thither fly, mere puppets they, who come and go at bidding of vast formless things that shift the scenery to and fro, flapping from out their condor wings invisible woe. That motley drama, oh, be sure it shall not be forgot, with its phantom chased forevermore by a crowd that sees it not through a circle that ever returneth into the self-same spot, and much of madness, and more of sin and horror, the soul of the plot. But see, amid the mimic rout, a crawling shape intrude, a blood-red thing that writhes from out the scenic solitude. It writhes, with mortal pangs, the mimes become its food, and seraphs sob at vermin fangs in human gore imbued. Out of the lights, out all, and over each quivering form, the curtain, a funeral pall, comes down with the rush of a storm, while the angels, all pallid and wan, uprising, unveiling, affirm that the play is the tragedy, man, and its hero, the conqueror worm.
Next we have Olivia Flickinger-Renzi from El Dorado High School.
My Brother, the Artist, at 7, by Philip Levine. As a boy, he played alone in the field behind our block. 6 frame houses holding 6 immigrant families. The parents speaking only gibberish to their neighbors. Without the kids, they couldn't say good morning and be understood. Little wonder he learned early to speak to himself, to tell no one what truly mattered. How much can matter to a kid of 7? Everything. The whole world can be his. Just after dawn, he sneaks out to hide in the wild, bleached grasses of August, and pretends he's grown up. Someone complete in himself, without the need for anyone. A warrior from the ancient places our fathers fled before, those magic places, Kiev, Odessa, the Crimea, Port Said, Alexandria, Lisbon, the Canaries, Caracas, Galveston. In the damp grass, he recites the names over and over in a hushed voice, while the sun climbs into the locust tree to waken the houses. The husbands leave for work. The women return to bed. The kids bend to porridge and milk. He advances slowly, eyes fixed, an animal or a god, while beneath him, the earth holds its breath. Thank you.
Next, we have Caitlin Stahl from Ponderosa High.
Be Music Night by Kenneth Patchen. Be music night, that her sleep may go where angels have their pale, tall choirs. Be a hand, see, that her dreams may watch thy guidesman touching the green flesh of the world. Be a voice, sky, that her beauties may be counted, and the stars will tilt their quiet faces into the mirror of her loveliness. Be a road, earth, that her walking may take thee where the towns of heaven lift their breathing spires. Oh, be a world and a throne, God, that her living may find its weather, and the souls of ancient bells in a child's book shall lead her into thy wondrous house.
Next, we have Sierra Melton Fielder from Independence High.
Rain by Kazim Ali. With thick strokes of ink, the sky fills with rain, pretending to run for cover, but secretly praying for more rain. Over the echo of the water, I hear a voice saying my name. No one in the city moves under the quick, sightless rain. The pages of my notebook soak, then curl. I've written, yogis open their mouths for hours to drink the rain. The sky is a bowl of dark water, rinsing your face. The window trembles. Liquid glass could shatter into rain. I am a dark bowl, waiting to be filled. If I open my mouth now, I could drown in the rain. I hurry home as though someone is there waiting for me. The night collapses into your skin. I am the rain.
And next we have Olivia Robertson from Golden Sierra.
Dream Song 14 by John Berryman.
Life, friends, is boring.
We must not say so. After all, the sky flashes, the great sea yearns. We ourselves flash and yearn. And moreover, my mother told me as a boy repeatedly, Ever to confess your bored means you have no inner resources. I conclude now I have no inner resources because I am heavy bored. Peoples bore me, literature bores me, especially great literature. Henry bores me with his plights and gripes as bad as Achilles, who loves people and valiant art, which bores me. And the tranquil hills engine look like a drag. And somehow a dog has taken itself and its tail considerably away in a mountain or sea or sky, leaving behind me, Wag.
And next we have Brendan Galbraith from Oak Ridge High.
Football by Lewis Jenkins. I take the snap from the center, fake to the right, fade back. I've got protection. I've got a receiver open downfield. What the hell is this? This isn't a football. It's a shoe. A man's brown leather Oxford. A cousin to a football, maybe. The same skin, but not the same. A thing made for the earth, not the air. I realize that this is a world where anything is possible, and I understand also that one often has to make do with what one has. I have eaten pancakes, for instance, with that clear corn syrup on them because there was no maple syrup, and they weren't very good. Well, anyway, this is different. My man downfield is waving his arms. One has certain responsibilities. One has to make choices. This isn't right, and I'm not going to throw.
From Charter University Prep.
September 1918 by Amy Lowell. This afternoon was the color of water falling through sunlight. The trees glittered with the tumbling of leaves. The sidewalks shone like alleys of dropped maple leaves. And the houses ran along them laughing out of square open windows. Under a tree in the park, two little boys, lying flat on their faces, were carefully gathering red berries to put in a pasteboard box. Someday, there will be no war. Then, I shall take out this afternoon and turn it in my fingers and remark the sweet taste of it upon my palate, and note the crisp variety of its flights of leaves. Today, I can only gather it and put it into my lunchbox, for I have time for nothing but the endeavor to balance myself upon a broken world.
And now I'd like to invite all our superstars up onto the stage for a final round of congratulations. Really fantastic, you guys. we have some special gifts for everyone. We have certificates for participating in Poetry Out Loud. We have awesome dog tags, so you'll never forget where you were tonight. Maura, would you say what the dog tags say? Can you do it from memory?
I sound my barbaric yawp over the roofs of the world. Walt Whitman.
And I also wanted to let everyone know that the winners tonight will get a trophy. The third runner-up receives a check for
$50.
Sorry, $50. Sorry, it's my first year. The second runner-up receives a check for $75, and the winner receives a check for $100. So, dog tags at the ready. After this part of the program, we'll take another break, and then we'll have the final announcements. I will take this opportunity also to thank my incredible El Dorado Arts Council staff, Maura Magnuson, Mary Lynch, and Allison Goulart, who's handing the dog tags out. You guys are amazing. I couldn't do it without you. I also want to acknowledge the El Dorado Arts Council board, incredibly supportive, and I couldn't do it without them either. I know at least one of our board members is here, Monica Garrison-Royce. Yay, there you are, yay. Thank you so much. Does everybody have their dog tag? We're having a conference back here. Yep, are we done?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, thanks you guys. You can sit down, right? And just one more information. I want to thank all of you guys again. You were really, truly amazing. The really interesting thing is you guys are going to remember these poems for the rest of your lives, right? Okay. I'm so pleased to announce that our third place winner is Caitlin Stahl from Ponderosa High. And our second place winner is Olivia Flickinger-Renzi from El Dorado High. Congratulations. So I have one other duty to perform, and that's announce our El Dorado County finalist, who is going to go on to Sacramento at the end of February and compete against all the other counties from the state. And that person is Sierra Melton.
Good job to all my competitors. You guys were so great. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next year.